If you grew up in the 70s, your childhood would absolutely get investigated today. You disappeared for hours. No phones, no helmets, no tracking. Just a bike, scraped knees, and a promise to be home before the streetlights came on. And somehow, everyone survived. You remember disco music blasting from someone's garage, roller skates on cracked pavement, Saturday morning cartoons that felt sacred because once they were over, they were over. But here's the part nobody talks about. That freedom didn't just make your childhood fun, it hardwired your brain differently. Because growing up in the 1970s trained you to trust yourself, create your own excitement, and stay steady when the world feels unstable. And in today's chaotic, hyper-connected world, that psychology is quietly becoming a superpower. Let's break down why. If you're a 70s kid, independence wasn't encouraged. It was unavoidable. You walked places alone. You figured things out on the fly. You made decisions without adults hovering over your shoulder like a human notification system. Psychologists call this self-efficacy, the deep belief that I can handle whatever comes up. You didn't wait for instructions. You experimented. You adapted. When your bike broke, you didn't Google it. You flipped it upside down and messed with it until it worked. When plans fell apart, you didn't panic. You improvised. That's why today, uncertainty doesn't paralyze you. New systems don't intimidate you. Change doesn't feel like a threat. Your brain learned early, I've been on my own before, and I figured it out. That confidence isn't loud. It's unshakable. Let's talk about something rare now. Being bored with nothing to scroll. In the 70s, boredom didn't mean stimulation. It meant invention. You made games out of nothing, built forts, turned cardboard boxes into spaceships, stared at walls until your imagination kicked in. Psychologists call this intrinsic motivation. Doing things because they're interesting, not because someone's watching. Your creativity wasn't optimized, it was organic, and that shaped your mind in a powerful way. You learned how to sit with your thoughts, how to generate ideas without prompts, how to entertain yourself without external input. That's why so many 70s kids grow into adults who can think deeply, problem solve creatively, and stay calm without constant stimulation. Your brain doesn't panic in silence. It works there. The 70s weren't exactly a carefree decade. Economic uncertainty, oil crises, long gas lines, news that didn't sugarcoat reality. And yet, you played, you laughed, you lived. That environment built stress resilience. You didn't grow up assuming the world would always be smooth, safe, or convenient. You learned that things break, systems fail, plans change, and life keeps going. That's why today, when things get uncomfortable, you don't collapse. You adjust, you endure, you move forward. You don't expect perfection, you expect reality. And here's the thing most people miss. Resilience isn't dramatic. It looks like calm under pressure, like not overreacting, like knowing you've been through worse. That quiet toughness? That's 70s conditioning. Friendships in the 70s weren't filtered, edited, or performed. They were messy, physical, real. You fought, you made up. You spent hours together without documenting a single moment. You learned tone, body language, and emotional repair in real time. Psychologists call this social attunement, the ability to truly read people. You knew your friends deeply because you lived alongside them, not just chatted with them. That's why today you crave authenticity over attention. You value real conversation over constant contact. You can sense fake energy instantly. You learned how to be present with people, not perform for them, and that skill is becoming rare. Here's the final twist. You've already lived through massive change. You went from rotary phones to smartphones, from analog to digital, from private lives to public ones, and you adapted without losing yourself. Psychologists call this cognitive flexibility, the ability to evolve without breaking. You don't cling blindly to the past, but you're not overwhelmed by the future either. You can appreciate disco and downloads. You understand something powerful. Tools change. Human nature doesn't. That balance makes you uniquely grounded in a world that constantly overcorrects. So, if you grew up in the 70s, hear this. You're not outdated. You're not behind. You're not irrelevant. You're battle-tested. You were raised free range, shaped by boredom, strengthened by uncertainty, grounded in real connection. In a world addicted to speed, you bring steadiness. In a world overwhelmed by noise, you bring clarity. In a world obsessed with novelty, you bring wisdom. That's not nostalgia, that's psychological strength. Now tell me, what's your most unforgettable 70s memory? The bikes, the disco, the roller rinks, the wipeouts? Drop it in the comments. Subscribe for more generational psychology. Because legends aren't loud, they're built early, and they last.